If you're feeling overwhelmed by the sheer volume of AI tools hitting the market right now, you are not alone. Right now, nearly every complex business problem is being treated as a nail for a single magic hammer labeled AI. That creates a massive operational dilemma. If you build a complex, autonomous system to handle a basic task, you burn capital. But if you try to force a simple generative tool to manage a multi-step workflow, you guarantee bottlenecks. AI functions as an evolutionary spectrum made up of 5 distinct paradigms. This spectrum starts at foundational machine learning, what we call traditional AI, and moves through generative and multimodal AI up to AI agents, and finally to highly advanced autonomous agentic systems. The entire spectrum is governed by one central trade-off axis. There is a direct inverse relationship between predictable control and scalable autonomy. As you gain one, you surrender the other. Diagnosing exactly where your operational friction sits on this spectrum is the only way to guarantee a positive return on investment. It's how you bypass the hype and buy the right tool. Let's start on the left side of the spectrum. These lowest-tier paradigms are entirely dependent on human control and highly structured parameters. Traditional AI is your classic machine learning. It requires clean, structured input data, like numbers in a spreadsheet, and operates on strict, rule-based logic. Traditional AI outputs highly accurate predictions, excelling at fraud detection. But it's rigid. Encountering a novel situation, it breaks until manually retrained. Generative AI, however, handles inputs differently. Instead of numbers, it processes text and unstructured data to create new content. It allows a single employee to rapidly scale content creation, drafting hundreds of emails or lines of code in seconds. But its actual task autonomy is incredibly low. You need a human pilot in the seat to verify the output and catch hallucinations. Both traditional and generative models are reliable workhorses for predictable enterprise output, but their ceiling is capped because they require continuous human energy to function. Moving toward the middle of the spectrum, systems begin digesting exponentially more complex data and taking their first real steps toward independent action. Mapping data complexity against task autonomy, multimodal AI sits high on complexity, processing video, audio, and text simultaneously, yet it waits for human instruction. AI agents sit higher on autonomy because they independently execute the work for you. An AI agent receives a specific goal and access to external tools. This is where the technology crosses the threshold from simply generating content to actually executing a task. You can give an agent a set of boundaries, and it will independently plan out and execute simple, multi-step actions. It can browse the web, pull a report, and send an email without you clicking a button. The fatal flaw here is brittleness. Shifting digital environments or edge cases will immediately cause the workflow to fail. When an agent gets confused, it stops, and a human has to step in to rescue the process. Upgrading to this middle tier unlocks serious execution speed, but you have to accept the operational risk that these bounded systems will break when they encounter the unexpected. On the far right of the spectrum sits the bleeding edge, Agentic AI. This paradigm is designed to intentionally eliminate human oversight from complex processes. The inputs completely change here. Agentic AI doesn't need step-by-step prompts. It only requires a high-level business goal and access to live environmental data. To visualize this process, look at this agentic self-correction cycle. The system plans, executes, evaluates the outcome, adapts its approach, and repeats. Notice what's missing. There is no human intervention node. It runs end-to-end on its own. Maintaining that continuous, unprompted cycle of self-optimization requires massive infrastructural complexity and towering compute costs. Leveraging this level of scalability means accepting a black box. Interpretability drops near zero, and you surrender direct, moment-to-moment control over how decisions are made. Agentic AI offers massive scalability, but deploying a black box where strict auditability is legally required is a severe strategic error. Theory is helpful, but let's make this actionable. Choosing the right paradigm comes down to a simple diagnostic framework based on your operational bottleneck. Does your bottleneck require automating an action or generating insight? For insight, route budget to traditional or generative AI. To take action, ask, is your environment strictly controlled? If yes, build an AI agent. If unpredictable, you need agentic AI. For operations leads, if your mandate is protecting margins, forecasting demand, and ensuring compliance, your budget belongs in mastering traditional AI, not experimenting with autonomous agents. For technical builders, your highest leverage engineering skill right now is mastering bounded, predictable tool use with AI agents. Lock that down before you attempt to orchestrate fully autonomous, self-optimizing agentic systems. As the landscape shows, these 5 paradigms build directly on one another to form an integrated stack. A mature enterprise uses them in concert. Traditional AI handles data hygiene, generative AI manages communication, and agentic AI orchestrates macro workflows. You can safely ignore the daily hype cycle. Long-term operational success doesn't come from buying the most advanced system available. It comes entirely from matching the specific machine to your exact mission.